Welcome back, attendees. I believe that we did not make you wait for so long, and you all are super excited for the second half of the event. So, without any delay, let's begin the second session with the much awaited panel discussion on digitalization, advanced data analytics, and aerial inspections for portfolio asset optimization. And to discuss this, we have in the esteemed panel Mr. Rassa Herabad, Head of Asset Management and RE Project Manager, Investment Department, Prime Road Power.
Hi everyone. Yeah, my name is Rasa. Thank you for inviting me to join the session. I'm from Pram Road Power Asset Management Team, and we're looking power for the digitalization, and would like I appreciate to have a session to share the experience and information with you guys.
Next is Mr. Hadi Gajine, Head of IT, Integrated Technology and Innovation, Super Energy Corporation, PLC. Welcome, sir.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. I'm Hadi Genjine, Head of IT Integrated Technology and Innovation at Super Energy Corporation, also participating with Forbes Technology Council as the official member. I'm so happy to share about digitalization, aerial inspection, and data analytics in solar industry with you all and learn from you as well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir. Next is Mr. Bancha Yatip, Assistant Project Director, Gunkul. Introduce yourself, sir.
Okay, hello everyone. Okay, thank you for your joy and attention. My name is Bancha Yatip, Kankul Engineering Public Company. We have to joy, this happy to join and share knowledge sharing together. Thank everyone. Okay, think you enjoy this section. Thank you very much, Marshall. Thank you everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have few more panelists joining the session in 5-10 minutes. So we'll start the session with them only, and then I'll introduce them later. Thank you, sir. You start the session, sir.
Okay, let me start the session. So I think the data, the session topics today, we are talking about the digitalization, advanced data analytics, and aerial inspection for portfolio asset optimization. I think all of us, we cannot deny that the trend of the data and digitalization is coming to the develop of the new scheme of the world development. I mean, data is not the new oil, but it's kind of the correlation of it is kind of the new crude oil, that the phase that I have here for a long time, and I believe that the data and its correlation will continue to be the game changer for the technology driven in the future for all sectors, not especially the renewable energy. So focusing back to the renewable energy, on solar specifically, I think there are many aspects, including the performance technology and related to the how we can enhance the operation and maintenance scheme to reduce the cost, or even to make the stakeholders for the projects to be more happy, financially viable, and also to make the project easier to be financed, or even go to the ESG or green technology or green financing. So I think we can start the question first to the panelists. Maybe start with Kun Hadi on what are the current digitalization trends from your perspective, Kun Hadi.
Okay. At first, about the data, you mentioned something very good. So there is a famous idiom in the data says, "In God we trust, all others should bring data." So the data was there since the human start living on planets, but the way it's changing. So when we are talking about digitalization, we had data and documentation before, so it was analog, and now we have it more digital. So when we are talking about digitalization, all the things we are talking is processing and acquisition of the data. How we gonna collect the data in digital way, and how we gonna use or monitor or process those data to increase efficiency. So about the like digital transformation or like the industry 4.0 or digitalization. It's literally same topics. Everything can bring the value for our company, and like increase our company production value or increase the revenue in the digital way. It will be the point we should consider. So in the trends that we are talking in this era, so the first one is how to collect the data and store the data. Of course, we have the cloud-based systems there, and the way the collecting the data. So the cloud storage is the first section. The second part is the operation on this data. That will be the monitoring system that we have, and the third one, how we connect this data with our human uh, our operators in the system. That can be like IoT systems or using AR, VR to increase the efficiency, and bring some devices for them like drones or some data centers as well. And the last things that I think we can consider in this trends, using the intelligence system like as artificial intelligence, AIs, and machine learning to increase the efficiency of the operation and decrease the manpower usage and risk, and of course cost. In when we are talking about cost, like the cost as a human error, cost as a money, cost as a hazard, and all these uh, topics and aspects as well. That's
Yeah.
all for me.
Yeah, that's thank you, Hardy, for sharing. That's covered all aspects of the trends. You mentioned about the collection, the importance of the data quality from the collection, accuracy, data screening, as well as the pursuit to the function of data analytics to the improvement. That's very good. So I just would like to add more a little bit on the some of the case in Thailand that for now, I think the trend of the digitalization, to add more from Hadi, is that the sizing of the solar, specifically in the Thailand and in the region, will become less. The sizing on the solar will going to be smaller, and hence the fixed cost of the project going to eat up some IRR return on the invest for the investor. To be specific, likely like some kind of the fixed cost like metering or safety requirement like rapid shutdown or something like that. So I think the data management in terms of also the O&M cost, if we can pool the cost it as a portfolio, I mean that's gonna be improved on the project IRR as well. And also if we manage analytically, that's gonna improve the performance and hence the IRR also. So the next question in terms of specific impact and benefits, maybe get your point from Kun Bancha, from the digital asset management, from any of that you have observed from your experience. Maybe appreciate Kun Bancha to add on this point, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kun Lassa and Kun Hadi. Okay, I would like to share digitalization and digital substation. For my background involved in substation for IEC 61850 computer substation, computer protection control system. It's very important for the substation for to be smart grid, smart substation, to be like a virtual power plant. The coming trend is coming. Uh-huh. Also, we consider for the data keep and metering LCOE, like as we know, the very important, the lower cost of energy, very important because the power plant is must be have the payback period, IRR. The figure is very good for the financial term, and that's why we try to use the digital and monitoring by SCADA and cloud system to control the data, to collect and consolidate the data, and then report to the financial or banker later. I think this is the key point and key success to, it's like next coming, the future trend, energy trading is coming soon, and makes power plant is like a hybrid like a solar, wind, energy storage and hydropower, some hydrogen. This is a coming trend in the future. Also, digital and data management is very important and very key success. This is the point. Thank you, Kulasa. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Kun Bansha. And I think it's true that the new trend, I mean, is energy trading is gonna coming as well. And another point is that I think the coming of the battery also becoming the apart from the only the solar in the system, and hence the integration system integrator, including the EMS energy management system, and how we balance, how we use the data to maximize or optimize the performance of both equipment in the system. That's going to be the critical point as well. I just would like to add more on one more specific on the solar O&M on the digital things. Now we can see the trend of the supplier of inverter itself to be more specific or tailor-made to the cell side. I mean the single cell or single inverter, single string, or even the smart IV curve for the inverter diagnostic for the hotspot, PID degradation. So I think the investor or even the project owner can benefit from this AI from the supplier itself. And before that, we can do the pilot testing to the compare with the conventional O&M inspection as well, in order to make us comfortable for using as a scaling up in the future. Okay, another asset management that I do see that we can benefit from the digital is that the supply chain of the kind of the for the operation maintenance in terms of the spare part management, or even the audit of the asset or the controlling of the asset, if we geo tagging the asset or asset from the solar plant itself. Okay, then we move towards the next topics. Is automation key to financially viable assets? So uh, this one, what do you think, Hadi? Do you have anything to share on this?
I think I would like to hear Deepak mindset about this first. Then I will back to. I think he also joined us.
Oh, okay. So
I can hear from him first.
yeah, Deepak, if appreciate. Thank you for joining. Yeah.
Yeah, hi everyone, and I'm sorry for being a little late. A very good afternoon to all of you. Thanks to SolarQuarter and to all my panelists. I joined late, so I'm not sure if some of the things have been already covered or not. But in terms of this particular question, where we're talking about automation basically having any impact on the financials of the project, so the short answer is yes. And all of us as developers are anyway using automation these days. We talk about digital technologies; they have already penetrated a lot in the energy sector. Uh, I would say further penetration in ONG, oil and gas sector, rather than renewable energy. But in the renewable energy sector also, it has been picking up lately. So in our experience, what we do is we do have our network operating center based out of India. That's where our most of assets are. So in terms of assets, I think SunSource has around 100 megawatt hour assets that we are currently managing. So most of them are in India. Some of them are in Southeast Asia, which I'm leading. So at SunSource, what we do is we basically have this network operating center where we are basically gathering all the data, acquiring all the data remotely from the sites. We of course have a platform partner for that we have outsourced these services to them. They are basically providing us all the data at our network operating center, at one center. And with all this data, we are obviously doing all those of data analysis, data visualization, results visualization, all these activities we are doing. We're trying to understand the trends in the maintenance. Because of this data, we are obviously improving regularly our KPIs. So that's what we are doing. And because of that, I would say, in short, yes, we are saving. We're saving on our overall O&M management or overall O&M cost, and that's how I would say. It's, I mean, it's not really key to your financial viability of your projects, but it's definitely required in this competitive world, because that's give you an edge, and that's when you can bring down the LCOE for our customers as well. So yeah.
Thank you. And Hadi, please, if you can add more on this.
Okay, I would like to say yes, but not automation, intelligent automation. Yes, it will decrease the cost. So uh, in here, like for example, in the cleaning system of the panels, if we consider if we use the robotics, robots for cleaning the panels, and we also consider the forecasting the dust, and we use also smart uh, inverters for this one or everything related together. So instead of having some fixed schedule of do the cleaning the panels, or we use some fixed schedule for do the IV curve testing with using the operation team that go there and check everything one by one to see if is going well or not. If we have some collecting system of the data, and we connect this one to the automation system and use all together with IoT and data analytics, we can have a very good prediction and forecasting of when we need to do this cleaning, when we need to do the operation of this part, or when we need to do some change on our panels, do some operation on which zone or this area. So it will be much easier for us to, of course, it's not 100% automation, because from our perspective and the system we already have, it's so far to we go to fully automation in this industry. But however, the part of automation coming, and it will going to extend day by day, and the cost for automation now at the moment, because of the trend and the demand of the market, is not that much. So the cost of the producing the automation system or IoT integrating in with your system using the smart inverters or this stuff is so high, or using even robotics like autonomous systems is so high. It's not common. But however, if it go get common and use and get demand by the operation teams, the cost will be less day by day, and we will see the automation extending in this market. And of course, we have so for example, in solar panels, we have 20, 30 years of like expectation of smooth operation. So it will be much easier for us. Yes.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, we have the thank you for the we do see the current and how impact and benefit and in terms of technically and financially viable from the asset management perspective. How about the future of digitalization will look like in in your perspective? For the panelists, I think that's also the good question that listener audience would like to hear as well. So maybe we start with Kun Bancha. If you can share from each aspect first on the future that you look like you a little bit touched on the energy trading already and microgrid. Something if you can share more on this.
Okay, thank you, Kun Hansa and Hadi. I would like to share my uh, project, microgrid in Meseliang, is northern of Thailand. The area is the rural area. It's like outpost number one in Thailand. It's often, and that's why the PEA utility would like to extend the transmission line to microgrid the village, 6 megawatt there to energy consumption. The main problem come from the natural. It's like a landslide and transmission line broken and outstate a lot that area. And microgrid is like a consolidated distributed energy resource. For example, solar farm 4 megawatt, diesel gen 5 megawatt, hydropower 1.5 megawatt, and transmission line come from 115 kV from utility. Digital can um, digital transformation for helping energy transition to be a smart grid and smart substation, because energy management in the future, energy trading, a part of the microgrid will be used in energy trading and maybe by blockchain or high technology. The blockchain is coming trend, sure, and energy trading come from source, different source. The sourcing is mean a power plant. The sourcing sometimes off grid and on grid connect with the transmission line with the utility, and that's why remote monitoring and metering very important. It's like a AMI meter can collect the data and send data by cloud used to cloud or the system integration with the smart grid, smart substation. The microgrid will replace the it's like a dam of hydropower is the big in Thailand. I think it cannot do the big dam because of the we considering with the area and rural area and the source of the come from the renewable energy, and that's why IGAT and PEA would like to do the project microgrid, the pilot project in Masiliang, in the northern of Thailand. Thank you for sharing. Okay, the answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that project is very interesting, and we do see the trend of this likely project to be happen in the region in the future. I would like to add a couple of more technical. I think Kun Hadi and Kun Deepak already mentioned about kind of automation as well as the data analytics on the forecasting to help the lenders on the project financing to be more comfort, or even the insurer for the insurance to be better, give us the better term for the investor if the data prediction is more accurate, or the sensitivity can be adjusted to be the better term for us. That's going to help the industry moving forward, right? And another thing, for the commercial, I do expect and do hope to see the decentralized financing on kind of the collateral and reliability on the medium player to see like a microfinancing on the small projects, or even though the it can be possible for the tokenization, asset tokenization on the rooftop as well as the smart insurance on the industry, and do expect to see the kind of the permitting that can be the bottleneck in some part of the project development in the region to be more digitalized to help the investor more comfortable for the permitting and license and land issue to be linked between the government departments to be better integration in terms of the data and IoT things for development. Okay, so this is the future of digitalization is quite broadened. So anything to be add from Kun Hadi and Kun Deepak on this topic? Please feel free to add.
To basically put it into perspective, first we're talking about solar PV. So yes, I think we've already covered, the depth of data acquisition that we're talking about. We start from interconnection panel to HT, LT, and we go to string level in most of the cases. We can go up to solar panels level also if you do the RFID tag and all those things. So this basically helps us in getting a lot more of data, and with more data, you will have better analysis and better results. So that's how the penetration of digitalization will definitely happen when we talk about the solar PV asset management or solar PV projects itself. Broadly, I think it has been already covered. We can talk about mini grids. Now, mini grids are definitely very complex projects. So these are not just solar projects or renewable projects. You, of course, add distribution to these. You, of course, add ESS and energy management system and BESS to these systems. Digital technologies have been doing a lot in those projects, and they have to do a lot in future. From basically managing mini grids and providing in uninterrupted supply is definitely something where digital technologies, IoT technologies have to play a lot of role. On the overall energy segment, or where digitalization will penetrate most is, of course, the smart grid elements. And I seriously hope that in future we have the tokenization and the blockchain activities really start doing, or giving some good results to us, because those technologies have a lot of potential for smart grids if they are successful in doing so. So I am just hoping that blockchain and tokenization, these technologies, I know there are a lot of startups working on these, but if these technologies can really prove to be something which can provide the solution that we are looking for, like smart contracts, if these can really happen, it will save a lot of time on all aspects. That energy sector will definitely be revolutionized after that if smart contracts can happen. So a lot of digitalization, a lot of digital technologies and automation still needs to happen in this industry. I'm just hoping that happens and happens for good. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. I think we move, given the time, I think we move to the next one on focusing on the aerial inspections, lead to the enhanced data accuracy and output, as well as continue the question to find out the address problem area with aerial inspections. I would like to cordially invite Kun Hadi to share the point, the view from this question, please.
Mhm. Okay, so first I would like to add something about the previous question about the future of
Okay. Yeah.
digitalization. So let's consider a scenario. We have a power outage or power cut in a system. So there is many solutions to fix it. But however, if we consider as three parts, there is three main solutions we can consider. One, we increase the production, energy production, so we can add renewable energy industries. This one, or like the uh, like all the way of the using the energy. The second things we can consider for this one is we manage the consumption part, how the factories, how the people, how the house or apartments or any part of the system, the cities control and this consumption. And the third one is more touchable than the previous one, is managing the system. So of course we can add the hybrid system for this one, BSS, like, and mix some solar, some wind, some even the coal rate or the thermal systems as well, to manage system to prevent this power outage. That's the main reason. That's the main reason we have renewable energy. That's the main reason we using the hybrid system. And for all this, if we want to, this happens and we prevent all the power outage or better management of the system or handle the climate change as well. So we need all three factors come alongside together to have a better digitalization. And it's going in that way. So if we consider a mobile phone, it never happened if we didn't had a progress in the digital cameras, if we didn't had a programming and the software platform, and of course the processors and the CPUs. So all come together, all develop at the same time alongside together, and we have something like this, that the fully industry 4.0 in our hands. For this one, or the future of digitalization in energy sectors, we need to these three mains: the producers, the management, the platforms for this management can be SCADAs, can be monitoring system, analytics system, and even in the consumption part, we can IoT to manage in smart grid when the consumption should be decreased, when forecasting gonna come in the future, the weather, this one, and BSS as well, to come all together to have a digitalization in energy industry. If we only focus in one target, of course, it's not going to be there. But however, our topic in solar assets and the solar industry, so we are focusing on that one. That can be the inverters, that can be the automation and autonomous system for anomaly detection and those areas. This is related to previous one. And
Yeah.
for aerial inspection, and means using drones to do the uh, for operation and maintenance in this industry. So of course, when we are talking about the inverters and considering smart IV curve to detect the defects like hotspot in the systems can be useful, but the cost is so high. So using the drones, especially with the thermal cameras, to uh, detect these defects like hotspot, diode bypasses, strings, dirt, shading, all this stuff with the uh, good data acquisition. And after that, we're using the data procedure on this one to find the location of it, using machine learning to point the problem, and some other system like using GIS system to address the problem. So that's what we are facing in aerial inspection in our solar farms. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. For define out the problem areas from the aerial inspections. Do you have any comments, Kun Deepak and Kun Bancha, on this?
Mhm. For Kunipak first, okay.
We have tried that. I mean, what was just mentioned earlier. We've been trying that using cameras on the drone directly connected to the cloud, trying to understand, picking hotspots, and all those things. Uh, we are gathering results for these things as well, but we are not yet at that stage to understand whether this is really going to make sense from a cost benefit scenario or not. But I'm not saying that it's not. We are just gathering that data, trying to understand how successful this is going to be for us in future. We have done a few experiments. We are still, evaluating those.
Kun Bancha?
For area inspection, I think data is very important because the data must be it's like consider to how to it's like power quality. Uh, area inspection must be keep and collect by the it's like software. We have software weather station. We have software. It's many intermittent, or we have software a lot to keep the data from the aerial, and then analyze by the software and the tooling. MicroGrid system, we have the function to check the aerial inspection and then analyze uh, to forecast the power come from the solar. Uh-huh. And sometimes we consider to monitoring also. The monitoring is very important because the metering and monitoring the key success to project it off-grid area. It's like a rural area because of the remote monitoring to fix it on site to save money a lot, and traveling is going to be fixed on site. Also, including cyber security, very important when you do the project. Cyber security, remote monitoring, and how to collect the data come from on site, very important. That's it. Thank you, Udhansa.
Okay. I just saw Kun Frank joining the session. Kun Frank is the CEO of Constant Energy. So now we are addressing the problem areas for the aerial inspection. Appreciate Kun Frank if you can share the pros and cons of the aerial inspections to the audience, please.
Sure. I think we've been using. We are a client of this type of services, basically on our ground mount plant or rooftop plant. So we basically develop, own, and asset manage solar plants in Asia, rooftop, floating, and ground mount at Constant Energy. So we basically been using mainly these tools for as a client, and typically it's more for we do asset management in a way that we are actually going to every asset once a month. Okay, not once a year, once a month. All of our assets are visited. We rely also on remote monitoring, but only up to a point. And the Quartz or the Skytron or also type of software will give you, I think, 85 or 90% of the information, but you still need to go on the site to find the remaining 10-15%. And those could be important 10-15% piece of information. So we send our people to site, and and once a month. And we've been using mainly the drone aerial for hotspot checking. Hotspot as either on the existing panels to check what panel don't necessarily work well due to hit by some material or defect on the panels. Also on existing roof, so sometimes the roof of the factory is too high and you may incur very quick degradation of your panels if you put panels on a hot roof because there's a process under the roof that makes a very high temperature. So these are two ways we found aerial survey been very useful. So mainly around hotspot detection, but we have not used the aerial surveys during all asset management period. Other than that, that's the main. I'm sure there's other use, but that's the only two use we found so far that we experienced. Of course, we've used aerial survey for development. Go on the site and see the relief and the vegetation, and video that so that our engineer back at the office can design the plant properly, especially in areas that are not flat. That's more for development stage of the project, not the asset management operation stage.
Yeah, I agree to Kun Frank. And I would like to add more on the challenging that I face on the aerial inspection result on the claiming of the warranty. So in that case, I used to have the experience that it still has some questionable, a lot of question from and challenging from the module supplier from using the aerial inspection result or from drone thermal scan alone to be claimed on the PV module performance specifically, or even some of the product warranty as well. So most of the manufacturers that I have seen is would insist on using the EL testing or the IV test in the lab. So the aerial inspection at the moment seems to be the supporting evidence, but it's not the only evidence to be used definitely to claim the module at this stage. I do expect to be the advancement of the technology to be further adapt to make it happen in the future. I do see a lot of the R&D guys on this drone supplier trying to do, and I hopefully, I mean, in the next 2 or 3 years can become the more realistic evidence for the supplier claim on the PV module. Okay.
I have a question, actually, just a follow-up question on this. Thank you, Rasa. Rasa, what is the accuracy of this IIO on the temperature assessment by drone? Do we have any data around that in terms of the accuracy of the temperature measure using drones compared to using sensor on the roof or on the panels?
It's quite for the drone survey that we have test. I don't remember the exact number, need to check, but it's kind of the sensitivity is a little bit worse than the thermal scan that we do on site. So I think that's one of the reasons why that the sensor that we use is maybe not accepted by the PV module supplier. So yeah, that could be one of the case as well, Frank. And I do see that the sensor, the key equipment in the part of the camera limitation is kind of one of the key driver for make the drones to be developed in the future. Together with the operating status, that could be also one of the limitations as well, that the irradiance level and operating status need to be the perform and a suitable inspection of around 600 watt per square meter, but definitely for the actual operating status can be very variable from the atmospheric kind of things. So that could be also one concern from the supplier as well in my experience.
May I add something to this one?
Yep.
The delta T differences in different altitudes is different. But however, for warranty claim, there is a specific altitude that the suppliers accept that one to based on IEC standard. The flight altitude is about like 30 to 40 meters. And the difference of the temperature in that altitude with the accepted thermal cameras with right providers is about 2 to 3 degree in the point, not more than that. in
At 30, 40
specific
meter
altitude.
altitude, yeah?
Yeah, actually the current one is 36, as I know, but that's for specific cameras that has a 640 resolution, like mean the pixel. If your camera resolution get lowered, so the altitude will be low, and based on the camera, the thermal camera you have, it will be higher. And for electroluminescence, I also know that there are some electroluminescence camera that support to attach and set up on the gimbal of the drones for increase the time, like improve the time of the data acquisition for this one.
Wow, that's
Thanks.
interesting, Hadi. Thank you for sharing. I think EL together gimbal with the drone. I mean that's the very good idea. Yeah. Okay. Um, so the next the next question gonna be, I mean, can advanced data analytics lead to the creation of new business model? Maybe appreciate kun all of the panelists, kun Frank, kun Banchai, and kun Hadi, to share, as this is the closest question for in the list for today. Appreciate you sharing. Thank you. Maybe start with kun Frank, if you don't mind sharing the, can advanced data analytics lead to the creation of new business model?
Well, we are mainly a client, right? So I think we bought a few drones in the last 3 to 4 years. The drones get bigger and bigger and more expensive, and with more and more capabilities. I do think that we are able to save a lot of time with the drone usage we have so far, which is on a development stage and also at the asset management stage. And I think we're expecting the service provider to open our eyes into other advantage of the drones, and we're keen to learn more about what services they can offer, and in order to improve the plant performance and improve our corrective and preventive maintenance.
Yeah. And kun Hadi, appreciate you.
Okay. Actually, there are some new businesses coming up, but they are not come up. So, for example, in wind energy, digital twins already kind of settled down with some companies. I see some news that the Bentley system and Microsoft working to do the simulation of digital twins, to collect the data and have a simulation for digital twins to use on wind turbines for maintenance, for forecasting, for operation and everything. However, because of the cost of the solar and cost of these systems, like implementing these systems, it not efficient now. But however, it's going to be more common. If it go to hybrid, it will become there, of course. Like as Frank mentioned, of course, the drone is a new business there, and it's growing day by day. The robotic as well coming to there. In the cleaning panels, I think we can see in next few years, even in the operation part as well. Yeah, of course, the pure answer for that question is a big yes.
Okay, thank you, Kun Hadi. Kun Bancha, if you can share from your perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Kun Hassan, Kun Hadi. I would like to share for data, to keep data to analyze in advance. For example, in substation, we have the equipped DFR, digital fault recorder. You record event when the event is like outstate or short state. We keep the data and then we analyze later how to fix it. For example, this is the can apply to power plant also. The power plant should be in the future have the digital twin or virtual power plant, because we can it's like a produce energy come from the, it's like a increase the potential, increase the performance and PR in the plan at plants will more increase for the benefit to term of economics like a payback period. As you know, in Thailand, the adder will increase for solar and wind. The adder will maybe next 5 year we will gone or zero, no adder, and that's why we must be increase the potential of PR, how to develop, how to use the digital or keep data and analyze and one, how to use this data for the improvement the system. The system integrator is very important because like Hadi says, in the future the hybrid system power plant is coming soon. Hybrid like energy storage, hybrid with the hydro, the solar, diesel gen and uh, wind power plant, digital and the it's like keep data to analyze in advance very important and in the future we must be considered. Thank you, Hassan and Hadi. Thank you.
ครับ maybe so คุณ Deepak and Milan as well if you can share the last point here as well if um, on the data analytics lead to the creation of new business models from your perspective please yeah
Okay, so I think from the business model perspective, we are already seeing around two business models wherein developers like us or like Frank and Milan, what we can do is we can have either the asset management, some part of it done by ourselves, or we can just totally outsource it. What we are doing is we are taking care of the asset management and data analytics part of it. Of course, outsourcing some of the services to a platform provider, and of course outsourcing the O&M. But we are basically taking an ownership on both these activities. We ourselves are responsible for that. Other could be you just totally outsource the asset management and operation maintenance to a third party, which will take care of everything from your side, and of course the contract will definitely have revenue and penalty systems linked to your PR or your other KPIs. So these are the standard models that are definitely there. Now with new technologies coming in, as Frank mentioned, with drones and all coming, drones and other things coming in, you have these new business models where drone providers can of course have some sort of revenue generation just because of those services there. Uh, so these are sort of the business models that are going to have in this industry. Just adding on to the wind digital twin. Even in solar now they have the digital twin concept. The platform that we are using at this stage, they do provide the solar twin concept, where they do their own some data analytics, some deep learning on the twin of your system, and just let you know how your system should operate in future. So yeah, with new technologies, new services are being added. I'm not very sure how new business models will also evolve. There's definitely a limit to it, but yeah, more and more services are being added to the same providers of these services.
okay yeah thank you คุณ Deepak and okay I think that's from the last point from me I think we have heard a lot of experience comment on how the data analytics can lead to the creation of new business model I mean from the development point of perspective we do see that the data analytics can support the project financing the insurance to be more like comfortable on from the prediction to be more accurate. On the technical, we can see from the AI and predictive algorithm from drones, from what Kun Frank, Kun Hardy, and Kun Deepak, Kun Bansha have discussed previously. And from the digital twin, Kun Hardy just also mentioned that is kind of the things that could lead to the AR, VR to decrease the O&M cost in the future. and AI things to be support the monitoring and control of the EMS from the hybrid, from what Kun Bancha just mentioned on the microgrid example, to integrate from the utility scale to the residential scale, that the AI things can be smart energy ecosystem management like the solar EV, PV, and things, and as well as automation business model for O&M. Okay, so I think this is the Vishali, I think this is almost the time, right? 4 p.m.
Yes, sir, that's no worries. We can wind up.
Yeah. Okay. So we may wind up for all the panelists again, or what do you think?
I think if audience need to ask any questions,
Mm-hmm.
so and they can ask in the chat box. I don't think so. There's any question from the audience right now, so we can wind up. That's not a problem. If you have any last question among yourselves, then you can have it, or we can end up. Tell me, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing from my side. Thanks, Vishali and Rasa, and everyone who attend.
Sure.
Nothing from my side either.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem, sir. So, thank you very much to our esteemed panelists for this wonderful session. And a very special thanks to Rasa sir for superbly conducting the session at the last moment. Your industry insights and technical expertise brought the best out of our eminent panelists to make this session even more informative, thought provoking, and interesting. Thank you, everyone, for extending your time and support for the event. We promise you to come back with more exciting topics very soon. Thanks to our partner, Webdin and Goodwe, for extending their support to organize this webinar. The floor is now open for networking. You can have networking session now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, audience, and
Bye
thank
bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.